Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about which Model Y variant you should buy, so that conversation is coming up. I suppose only having two variants makes it a lot easier decision compared to some other car companies, where they have like 5 trims, rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. So which variant is best for you? So I think there's a number of factors here at play. First one is price. That's going to be probably the most important factor, and so I think there's a slight caveat here that inflation and supply chain issues are causing a lot of issues right now, and so these cars are really expensive to begin with. And so the gap between the long range and the performance is only $4,000. But if these supply chain issues ever go away, it might be a little bit bigger, maybe like $8K or something like that, where basically there is a bigger decision at play here. So if you want to spend the absolute least amount of money, but you want a Tesla and maybe an EV crossover, then you're going to want to get the either white or gray with the 19-inch Geminis. That's the cheapest variant you can buy. The trade-off here is that if you get the cheapest variant, Tesla does prioritize orders, which means that right now you have over a year wait if you order one of those variants, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get it in a year because they prioritize orders, they might just keep pushing it back and back, and there's a ton of demand still for the Model Y, so it could be a really long wait for you to get the car if you really want to spend the least amount of money. So my suggestion to avoid that is you're going to have to spend a little bit more money. So basically you can either get a different color, so maybe a black or red or something, or get the 20-inch induction rims. That'll help, or just maybe do a combination of both. But if you're already thinking about spending a little bit more money on paint, like I think the red is $2,000 and the induction wheels I think are $2,000 as well, you might as well just get the performance for $4K, and that way you get to basically cut to the front of the line. And the wait for the performance is only like 2 to 4 months, so it's a lot shorter wait. But if you don't care about going fast in straight lines or taking corners hard, then maybe the long range is for you. It's a performance car, so it can obviously do those things, but it can also do all the things that a long range can do, which is just drive around and cruise and, take care of errands, go to the grocery store and stuff. I will say though, a 3.5 second 0 to 60 is a lot of fun, and it doesn't really get old. And I'm not saying that 4.8 seconds for the long range is slow, but 3.5 is really fast and it's a lot of fun. Also, if you don't care about all the bells and whistles, so that would be the red brakes, the 21-inch Uber turbines, the red underlining under the dual motor, carbon fiber spoiler, and the lowered suspension, then maybe a long range is for you. Another thing you may not realize about the performance is that the tires are staggered. It's a staggered setup. So what that means is the rear tires are actually wider than the front tires, and this is a performance thing for racing. And so what that means for the everyday person is that you can't rotate the tires. So if you can't rotate the tires, that means they're going to wear unevenly, which means you're going to have to change the rear tires more often, so that's going to be an extra expense for you. So while we're on the topic of tires and rims, I guess, the range is also different. So basically the performance gets 303 miles of range, and the long range with the 19-inch Geminis gets 330 miles of range. So it's a 27-mile difference, but in all reality, that really does not matter. It's not relevant. So the example I'm going to use is I took a Better Route Planner and I put in, the performance and the long range for a trip from here in NorCal down to SoCal, and basically it still had the same 2 stops, and it was the exact same amount of time to charge up the car. So that 27 miles is really not relevant. Insurance will most likely be more expensive on the performance because it's a performance car, and insurance companies love to just use excuses like that to, charge you more money because there's more risk involved. So I guess if you don't pay, you can't play. So I guess that's in effect here because the performance will probably cost you a little bit more in insurance. So as mentioned earlier, if you were to order the performance, you would get it a lot earlier than the long range. So paying that extra $4K has value in itself right there because we're talking about like almost a year wait difference. So basically to physically have a car for a year longer, 4K is worth it because you can actually, use the car and do stuff with it rather than just not having the car and having to struggle with things that would make, would be easier if you had a bigger car. So if you like just having the top of the line variant, then the performance is for you. So as I mentioned, there are subtle differences, but they are there and you can notice them. So it does look really nice, and you do kind of stand out having the performance over the long range. And I will say those red brakes and that carbon fiber spoiler are really nice accents to the car. So if you're a person that does like to stand out a little bit, then maybe the performance is for you. So even now when I'm driving around and I see other performances, I go, ooh, another performance, sweet. So those are the differences in my reasoning to get a long range or a performance, but ultimately the decision is going to be up to you and what is best for your needs. Which one are you leaning towards? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.